Hey guys, welcome to the workshop. In today's video I wanted to show you how to make this really cool rustic picture frame that I'm actually going to use to encompass a photo that I had enlarged and printed at the store. So stick around. Now I can't take credit for this photo. This is actually something that I found on Etsy, and I'm going to put a link in the description to that person. So if you like this picture, be sure to go down there and buy it from that creator on Etsy. But let's jump right in and make this picture frame. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do is actually use this piece of pallet wood. And it's got a lot of character to it, so I wanted to keep a lot of that character. So I'm not going to run this through the planer, but what I do need to do is get rid of some of the nails, and then I'm going to cut them to the width that I want. And basically I'm going to have some of these need to be 1.5 inches and some of them need to be 1.25 inches. But I'll explain later why there's two different sizes. So as you can see here, there is this notch we want to cut, and it's 1/4 inch and 3/16. So cutting that in the board that is 1.25 inches, and then we're going to do the same thing eventually in the 1.5 inch board, except the dimensions will be just slightly different. Now I had this old plane that I picked up from a flea market, and it works really well to clean out these rabbits. You can also use a chisel just to clean up that area so that your picture frame will sit in there nice and tight. Now I begin by cutting with a miter saw, cutting the first miter, and then that way I can set that against the board and measure exactly where I want this thing to be. Now this is going to be 20 inches at the beginning. It's going to be a 20 by 16 picture frame. So from inside lip to inside lip, it will actually be 19.5 by 15.5. And that is exactly what we have at this moment. Then just using some air nails and glue, I like to adhere it together. The glue really will hold a little bit, but once we get the other frame around this, it'll actually turn out really nice and tight. Now before it all sets in, make sure that everything's nice and square. And then the next one, we're going to cut another groove with 3/4 inch by 1/4 inch. Now some of these can vary if you have decided to make it with thinner or thicker boards. So instead of 3/4 inch, you may need to go with the dimension of the lumber that you are actually using. And then I repeat doing the miter on the end first so that I can use it as a guide. Now this time you cut the miter standing up, so when you stand this up against the trim, you can know exactly where you want to do it. Now that all the pieces are cut, we're going to glue it and nail it into place. So before I moved on to painting it, I wanted to fit a piece of cardboard in the back. You can choose to use a board that is maybe a really thin piece of plywood, but I chose to use cardboard just to keep this thing as light as possible. And you can tell later in the video that I ended up swapping this piece out, but to get this dimension I did the exact same thing. So now at this point, it was time to paint it, and we used a paint. It's called Magnolia White. It's not quite a pure white. It's a little bit of an off white, and it's something that my wife really likes, and we use it a lot in the house. Now this picture is just going to sit in there with no glass to protect it. You can choose to do glass, but if you do decide to do that, you're going to want to make sure that you make that groove a little bit deeper. And then I'm going to adhere this to the cardboard using a spray adhesive so that it will stick and become very solid. And here you can tell this is a different piece of cardboard. Now this glue gets sticky very fast and very quick, but still wanted to give it some time to set up. Now that the picture is glued, fit it right into the slot. Now this is a really tricky spot. They do make special devices to do this, but I just decided to use a pin nail, and if you hold it far enough away, it gives you a little bit of a lip to hold the piece of cardboard into the frame. And just as a nice little extra touch, I decided to cover it with some brown paper. And this paper is the same type of paper that you can put on your floor if you're trying to protect your floor during some construction. It also is something that you can just use a cardboard paper bag. So I'm not really going to go into explaining this part, but I'm going to be making a video here in the future about how to mount different things, different picture frames using different techniques. In this one we decided to use picture frame wire just because it was a little bit better for the weight of this picture. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Really hope that you enjoyed it. My wife really likes it. She really enjoyed it for Christmas, and she's already put it up in a place. It's not really hanging, it's on a shelf, so that is an option that you can do with these. But guys, thank you for watching this video. Really hope that you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. So thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next time right here in the workshop.